All right. We're live, but I'm going to give it a second because it takes a second to go live. So,
Probably shouldn't talk while you're giving it a second.
nah, it's more fun to talk. All right, there we go. There we go. All right. Hello everybody. If it's Wednesday, it's Warhammer, and that must mean it's time for another episode of Warhammer Weekly. Joining us as always, us being the royal us, is Tom. He's back. What's up, Tom?
Hello, friends. What do you mean? I was like here last week. How is this he's back?
Because you haven't been here for all the episodes. You're 4 episodes down, 5 episodes down.
Something like that.
Sure, absolutely.
I mean, to be truthful, too, Vince does so much stuff online that, I mean, you're just once in a while now.
Exactly, yeah.
I mean,
I've made like 6 videos since I saw you last, Tom. What are you doing with your life?
that's accurate. Like you, I think you did.
Also joining us, we're so happy to have him back on the channel. It's Eric. It's Stonemonk of the Mortal Realms. How you doing, buddy?
I'm doing great. I am glad to be here. We've all been busy, so, it's nobody's fault.
Sure. I like the level of professionalism you bring. Like, look at that great microphone you've got. We're all just here on headsets. Tom's just like yelling at the wall. We're all basically hearing him in real time as he screams out his window.
I have a Yeti right here. I have a nice microphone. I just don't have a nice holder for it. That's the difference here.
I thought he just shouted at God and God helped him out.
Yeah, exactly. He just broadcasts.
That's right. Yeah, it's thaumaturgy. Yes, you're constantly cantripping. All right. So at any rate,
Cantripping balls.
exactly. This week we are going to get into some wild speculation. This is the other half of the speculation show we did a little more than a month ago, where we talked about sort of future armies, but we specifically didn't cover these 3 because their books were coming out so soon. Well, guess what? Here we are. No books yet, although we have predictions about when we'll get into. So we're going to talk about our predictions for the Cities of Sigmar, the Orruk Warclans, and the Mawtribes, 3 books that we know are on the horizon, as are all confirmed. So we're not going to talk about the Bone Daddies because whatever. They're a whole separate thing.
Well, I wanted to interject real quick. Vince chatted me up earlier in the week and was like, "Hey, you want to come on the show?" And I was like, "Sure." I mean, I'm like at the starts of a whole bunch of stuff. I have nothing to talk about. Not all this kind of. I was like, what? So he throws, let's have a speculation spectacular type thing going on, and so I came prepared to like read between the lines, right? To just kind of figure out where there's nothing pointing to anything, and therefore there must be something there.
Totally.
So I'm here to announce that the Warhammer Weekly has been inducted into the Mortal Realms conglomerate as of right now. We've got...
It's a hostile takeover.
I'm assuming that's what this invitation was about. We haven't talked about it at all, but we've got, obviously, the Mortal Realms. We've got What the Hex, Dogs of Warcry, and now Warhammer Weekly is part of the Mortal Realms warm loving family.
Sure, the network. So, I've been waiting for somebody over here to start up the equivalent of like the Weekly Planet sort of network.
I mean, I'm not gonna lie, Vince and I have talked about it, so
sure. But
I know exactly the fact that you haven't talked about it openly leads me right to that point. So
well, yes, I had to bring you on, Eric, to do this because you all did a version of a prediction show. I don't remember what it was in advance of. Maybe the Gits. I'm not sure exactly.
Maybe yeah, it was we know that in December or in the beginning of the year we're going to get some big splurge.
Yeah, that's what you did. Yeah. And you made real predictions and you like bet on them. So here's my thing I didn't say. We're going to put money on the line for this.
Oh, geez.
There's real money. So I hope you all brought it because it's time to put our money where our mouth is, which would be especially painful for Tom. But we're going to do it tonight. I'll get to the details of that when we get there. Yeah, exactly. Yes.
Well, I'm glad we did the merger before we got into the money so that,
sure,
TMRC and all of that.
Absolutely. Yes. All right. But first up, of course, we've got some news. So, Tom, this is the part where you do stuff.
I getting paid for this? So Rumor Engine.
Yeah, Rumor Engine. I've got it up on the screen. Neither of you can see it, but our viewers can see it. It is
Yeah.
a hilty type thing with a little wrappy wrap.
You mean a
And
tentacle banner?
something to that effect. Yeah, well, that's just it. It's got a couple strings of like little pearls around it or whatever. Yes, it looks like a tentacle wrapped around the end of like a magic wand or something like that. I don't know. There's a lot going on here. I can't tell if that's metal or a tentacle or because it kind of looks like it's all formed of the same thing. Like, what do you think it is,
Eric?
Yeah, I'm trying to think of like it definitely is somebody's like staff or like thing that they're going and they're hooking stuff with it. We've already, I mean, it feels very Slaneshi, but we've already been there. But those beads, are those more of like the religious holy type?
Mm-hmm.
So maybe light elves, angels of Teclis.
Sure.
Something.
I'm trying to figure out it. Like that looks very much like a sword hilt. Like that is say something wrapped around the pommel of a gem. But it's very difficult to figure out where the hand would then be holding this thing. Like, is that what?
Right.
What's holding that thing? Unless they photoshopped something out, but
Sure.
But then it wouldn't be painted like that.
Yeah, I feel like if that's the handle where the jewel is the pommel, then that thin part to the right would be the sword, and then gravity would be having that pointing down.
Which is where it seems like the little beads are hanging.
Right.
Unless they're attached.
It could be
to
on
something.
somebody's hip. Right.
Yeah, that's a tricky one. Tom, what's your thought? I literally have no idea on this one. I won't lie. There's some people in the chat guessing like Malarian and tentacle based stuff like that. Okay, Tom, what's your thoughts?
Yeah, like this is Chaos Elves. Like not Chaos Elves, but like this is Dark Elves, the Malarian band. And this is like they're gonna be a dragon heavy, like a draconic-esque mixed like thing.
Okay.
And what you're seeing the dragon tail is what that is wrapped around.
Where's the rest of the tail going? Is that the piece coming up out of the back? Like does it come in here under where it says Warhammer Community, wrap around and then around it? Like I'm trying to figure out where the actual tail is swooping.
No, like I think what this is like this is a stylized dragon tail, right?
Okay.
And then I think that this is the like one of the left beam, like let's say if you're facing it, it's on your left. If you're behind them on your right, the left like cross beam of a banner.
See, I'm gonna go ahead. I think people are right in the comments. People said Elven banner pole. I like that idea because then what the beads are actually holding is the banner. Like
that's what I said.
Yeah, so you're
like
saying turn it like this, right?
No, I'm saying like that is so the actual main pole of the banner is out of shot on the right hand side.
Yeah, but that's the top of the banner, and I'm saying it's holding the banner that's blowing in the wind. I'm saying I think it's actually like this, straight up and down.
Yeah, so you would rotate it 90 degrees.
Correct. Yes.
When I was reading chat, I first read banana pole,
sure.
which means that wrap thing is just a chaos banana.
Banana peel, obviously, yes.
Wrapped around something in those, those are just decorative banana beads.
Banana beads, of course, well-known thing. Absolutely. So what we see here is the most dastardly of all chaos tactics, which is the banana peels. They just throw behind them constantly to spin out enemy carts. I've seen this before. Basically, what's going to happen is, the Celestant Prime or whatever is going to come down and try to, be ready to smash Archeon with Galmaraz and just be like, whoops, slipped on a banana peel, and then boom, he gets killed, and that's
who tricked you this time.
That's right. There you go. So that's what happens. Diddy Kong is their new special edition miniature that comes out with them.
We're going to be talking about ogres in a minute.
All right, so that's the rumor engine. Tom, what else we got?
Yep. Beastgrave. So Beastgrave is coming. They've revealed the big reveal has been on the art.
Because we got the base box set, obviously. And now it's everybody's unboxing and it's all over the place. So now it's the art. Exactly right.
And, well, and the goblins. We got the release of the Goblin Wolf Rider models,
which was cool.
Yep. The nice classic gets. But on the art cards, we've seen Nurgle models, we've seen Iron Jaws, interestingly, which may or may not mean anything.
I mean,
The
I don't
ones
think
that
they've ever had card art that featured anybody who like a model that wasn't part of Underworld.
sure, but we have Iron Jaws.
I mean, okay. I'm just saying they're in there. Yes,
Right.
you have. Yes, but those looked different. They were like there were brutes in the
Like
picture.
brutes,
Yeah.
right? Brutes, not hard boys. Yep.
Yeah.
No, I hear that. Death.
What is
Ogre.
that, like 2 brutes, by the way? Like, what's that warband look like?
It would probably have to be 3 brutes, maybe.
I guess.
Like
Sure.
because like you're on Stormcast levels, right?
No, I mean brutes are stronger than Stormcast. It like as it is in the game, but sure, why not? But
Stormcast have 4. Like Stormcast have 4 models, right?
No, 3. Steelheart's Champions is 3 models.
Oh, is it?
Yeah, it's like the paladin dude, and then the main guy, and then the smashy hammer or the hammer and shield girl.
Yeah, you can either do 2 or 3 brutes.
Yeah, sure. Like, yeah, it would be very funny to see a 2-member warband that's just 2 brutes going in on it.
Sure.
But yeah, sure. You
Well,
can make it 3 and it's fine. Whatever.
They definitely play with those numbers. I think the one that you'd probably be looking closest to is something like Molog's,
Right.
Sure.
you know, where it's one main and a bunch of support. And we may see some in some of the art. There could be implications of that for ogres.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
Yep. Because
I agree.
You got ogre stuff in there. You got Nurgle stuff in there. Daughters of Cain stuff. The daughters are an obvious easy transition, right? Like that one's simple. That's easy peasy. And you got death stuff in there too. So
I'm interested for the ogres. Like the low hanging fruit there is obviously like a hunter with a bunch of saber cats.
sure.
Yeah.
Because you see the kitty cats in several.
Yep. I'm hoping that they don't go that route and just do cats, and instead you get like one of the blood vultures. You know, from the so like if you read the lore and all that for the like Beastclaw Raiders.
Yep.
The hunters have these vultures that they hunt with, and the models come with them, and it would be neat to have one of those vultures like assisting a foot hunter.
Oh, that'd be cool. Like an actual standalone vulture model.
Yeah.
Yeah, because their vultures show up in a couple of the different
Right.
models.
And so it doesn't just have to be cats. Like it could be a hunter, 2 cats, and a vulture or something.
Sure. That'd be cool. Yeah.
Yeah.
I agree.
Yeah, that'd be awesome. So lots of new warbands still to come. I'm sure the Nurgle one will be everybody's favorite. Like that's gonna be, you know, in the most popular sort of like because you see the Blight Kingy looking dude in the picture,
Right.
which means we're going to get like even a more even ridiculous custom, you know, insane sculpt on models that are already some of everybody's basically favorite sculpts of all time.
Well,
Right.
given that proportion that the Underworld's like sculpts are so unique and varied, what is the Nurgling model going to be to outshine all other Nurgling models that have ever been put out?
Sure.
Over the last 2
he's
years.
got like one. You're saying he's got to be especially particularly special, right?
Yeah.
I think he should be wearing a little wizard hat and have a wand.
I mean, we kind of had that already, but I hear that.
Mhm.
I would love if it's like 1 Blight King and then like 4 Nurglings. Like just a party of
Just
Nurglings.
one Blight King. I mean,
Yes.
I would like to see different, interesting Plague Bearer sculpts are also an opportunity. I don't know that they
Yeah.
use demons, but that would be cool.
I would say they haven't done demons at all yet.
I know. I'm just saying it'd be a cool way to bring them in. I don't think it'll happen, but I would just love to see a new sculpt of those. I think those are amazingly versatile models.
Sure.
I mean, Plague Bearers are a fascinating model. They like just I hate everything Nurgle, obviously, that isn't Death Guard and locked inside armor that keeps their grossness inside. But like Plague Bearers can be a thing that new painters love and enjoy because they get speed painted and they have good results and they feel good about it, right? And they also can win like the gold at Warhammer Fest in you know fantasy single model when Soper or not that one wasn't Soper, he did Slobbity Bowpiper, but just a Plague Bearer champion took the gold in category. I don't remember who painted it. I'm very sorry to whoever did that amazing Plague Bearer. But my point is it's all the same kit. Right? Like it's such a versatile kit that went from like super rewarding and easy to paint for a brand new person and taken to the highest level of potential hobby.
Right.
That's a hell of a spectrum on a single model. Right.
and a unit model,
Right.
or battle line.
Yeah, I love my plague bearers. They're great models.
Sure. I appreciate them. They're just gross and disgusting, and everything Nurgle is wrong. And if you like them, you're also wrong. That's easy. See how simple that was? There you go. Fight me.
It's that kind of black and white perspective that we need at the Mortal Realm.
Yes, indeed. All right. So at any rate, yeah, lots of good stuff there. I mean, obviously, we'll see those war bands over time. And yeah, I'm cool. I think the ogre one will be the most exciting, and I wonder if this isn't the way they back in the plastic hunter so they can keep that model, so they don't have to 86 him in Mawtribes, right? Like
right, and this is how you get cats too.
Yeah, we're
so
sneaking in new cats and new hunter. Like we couldn't. Boom, we've side arounded it, right? So like, there's no actual release of new hunter and new cats. Instead, there's just they 86 the generic version, and the version of them now is the warbands. Is the like or 86 the existing generic version of them, the model. They cancel those models, but then in the book they print a generic version of this stuff, right? So you can have like unnamed hunter and unnamed cats, or you can have this, that whatever their warband is going to be. Yeah.
Yep.
And you just use those same models.
I don't think they'll do that, but I wish.
I mean,
so that would be an interesting take. Whereas most of the underworlds, like warbands, have a special scroll.
All of the warbands, all of them.
Well, sure, and as whether some of them are good or not or whatever, but so as the pattern, but they always, they never keep their patterns long.
Well, at the same time, there's no reason you can't use yes, they all have special scrolls, and I agree, it will. This absolutely will. What I'm saying is, like, I can take the Blood Warriors from the Blood Warrior Underworld set and use them, and they work perfectly fine in a Blood Warriors unit, right?
Yep.
And on and on and on. Any of them that have analogous units, the Blood Reavers and the Stormcast people and whatever, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
So there's no reason this couldn't just be the new generic model. What I'm saying is they will 86 those models, and just that the picture of generic hunter that shows up in the book will be the thing out of Underworlds.
Oh, I know what you're saying. I just don't think they'll do it.
Okay. No, we'll see. We'll see.
Yes, we will.
All right, fair enough. That's just, I want to call out a little comment that W. Soren made real quick here, where he said, I'd like to see an interesting sculpt for a new Melusai for daughters, even if it's a bow snake. I love the existing Melusai, but I'm just excited that maybe there could be a bow snake that could be worth taking. Wouldn't that be exciting if, like, somehow the Underworld's warband for daughters turned out to be competitively really good? That'd be good.
It won't. You can just stop hoping now.
Okay. Look, hey, you shut your face. It'll probably be a bow with a string, though. That's what we've learned. Is that now apparently we have advanced model making technology that we can sometimes string bows, because the little Ungors have stringed bows. So there you go in the kit. So that's something. We're moving. Technology marches ever forward. What will we think of next? First the moon, and then plastic stringed bows in a model. It's really been a high watermark for humanity.
Or else really stepping it up.
Indeed. All right, what's our next news thing, Tom?
Warcry FAQ dropped. Anything jump out to you guys?
Nope. It was all fine.
How small it was?
Yeah, I mean, it was fine. Here's what I'll say. Like, I got a bunch of games in a Warcry over the past couple weeks, and I didn't really run into many conundrums. I also didn't need that roundup rule for falling damage, because you saw how I built my terrain, right?
Right.
So, like, we had all the height in the world. Like, I have terrain that's more than 12 inches tall, so, it's fine.
Yeah.
And none of it's cardboard anymore, Tom. I got rid of all my cardboard terrain. You'll be happy to know.
I am so proud of you.
Thanks,
I hope
man.
you know that.
I tossed it all. And I mean, it was fine. It was cool clarifications. I was cool with it. It's all corner casey stuff. I mean, throughout all our games, we were like, well, how does this work? And I looked and I was like, this is the thing. There's a couple times you had to check for stuff we didn't remember. That was it.
Sure.
But and side note, what I learned is that I'm absolutely picking up the Gits warband from Underworlds at some point because Gits are that's my jam. I played the Gits a couple times. My God, they're the perfect warband. They're so fun. They're
They are
ridiculous.
pretty tough.
Yeah, they've got the versatility. Like I
Yeah.
played the Iron Jaws and it was very fun to be this invulnerable monsters that were just walking around the board murdering anything they touched. It was like if an Iron Jaw came into contact with you, you just exploded, which was great. And both like any game I played the Iron Jaws, I played them in 2 games. And in both games, at least one round I had a 4, 5 or 6 wah to fire off. So suddenly my move was like 7, 8 or 9 inches, right? And that gets real scary real fast. And like that was fun, but it's okay. You end up having like 2 or 3 guys on the table that are actually useful when you have to split your forces up, right? Whereas the goblins, you've got the right number. You've got your hard hitting shock troops, your little dudes, chaff. You got shooters. You got fast little things. Their like abilities are pretty underwhelming on their card, but they are so much fun to play. So there you go.
Yeah, let me add another element to that. Some of the cards have went out of sale and are no longer available on some of the GW sites. And we don't know if they're coming back. I mean, we think they might be being printed again, but who knows? And so if there are still cards that you like warbands that you want cards for, make sure to pick up your cards. Like, don't wait on those things if there are things you want.
Yep. I mean, I didn't wait.
So,
I picked up all of them that I wanted, like week 1.
Right.
I was on that.
They
were so cheap. There was just no reason not to, right?
I just picked up all of them. Like some of them haven't been open, but I have them.
Nice.
And then finally, there's a big hubbub this week about in the novelized Realm Slayer, in the back and like the glossary or whatever, it identified Malarian as a chaos god, a once elf, now corrupted chaos god, or something along those lines. Yeah, that's not a thing. That was a mistake. Black Library came out with a disclaimer, apparently.
Fine. I mean, Spiky Bits got plenty of traction out of it, so good for them.
Yeah.
That keeps popping up in my Facebook feed or whatever. Or
I mean, I'll say that I kind of wish it was true.
It's fine.
It'd be really interesting. Like, it would be an interesting twist on like I'm getting to the point of the Elven stuff that I'm just underwhelmed. I don't know.
I don't. You're just underwhelmed. You're so full of it. You have a whole daughter's army. You can shut your face. You just don't like IDK.
I don't like IDK, and like if
an Elfie army didn't appeal to Tom. Oh no!
I mean, that's a big deal. It is a big deal. And then like a bunch of them got deep sixed, and so now we just have weird elves left, and I don't know, like, yeah.
Yes, it was. The author said it was a mistake. That's fine. You know what? I don't need him to be a chaos god. I just need him to be an interesting character, and that's fine.
Sure.
And his army to be cool. We're probably like a year plus away from those guys, but who knows? Or 4 months, but whatever. Who knows, right?
Right.
But like if I had to guess, it would be like a year plus away, and it's fine. Just make them cool when they come out, and we're good.
It does feel like, I mean, they're taking their sweet time with these guys because they know it has to get right.
Yeah.
Like, and I think either they have something really good in the hopper and they're just waiting. They've got them all figured out, or they had them figured out, early on, or they were just waiting for the creative team to like come up with something just stellar, and give it the space it needed to breathe. So I guess I'm not going to say nobody's going to be disappointed, but there'll be a lot of thought put into it, I think.
Look, that's fine. If they wanted to go that direction, I wouldn't want Malarian to just be chaos. That would be kind of boring. I'd rather he be an interesting player, or they have him be the gold faction or something like that, right? Like where he actually plays both sides. Like the Spy Master and quintessential schemer, he's tricked everybody, and you can play the army as order or chaos, and it has different different allegiance abilities and functions when you're doing that. That would be cool.
Okay. Let me push a different direction.
Sure.
Malarian is actually, we find out that Age of Sigmar is in the far past, right?
Okay.
And that Malarian is actually Malal. So this is the birth of the fifth Chaos God.
Yeah, I mean, this has went around. People have talked about that.
Like the anti chaos God.
Sure.
And so driven by anger and hate.
Sure.
And then you get some chaosy elves. You get he's always been a very like black and white like style, like purple with blacks and whites.
Mm-hmm.
In the color schemes, and so that's a very hop, skip, and a jump to Malal and his colors. Just saying.
Look, here's my answer. Whatever. Whatever. Like, again, like, if the army's cool, the army's cool. The chaos, like, putting him in chaos is just like, that doesn't do anything on its own, right? Or putting him anywhere. That's not anything. That's not narratively anything. That's just a cheating shortcut. Saying he's Malal isn't anything. That's just nostalgia crap. Okay? Right. Either a character's good and deep and interesting because of the things that they're doing in the world and the dimensions to them, or they're not. Throwing them in a couple buckets that's just a cheap shortcut method. That isn't anything.
What I'll say is I think that at some point they're going to need to break down the wall that is chaos, in terms of that chaos is still generally what it was. Okay. It's just been fully realized in the models, right? With a greater demon for each of them. Now they've kind of run the gamut. Everybody's got their new stuff. Chaos is fulfilled. At some point, it does feel like they need to crack through that and say, "Hey, it's different." In the same way that they've done with dwarves or elves or whatever. To use this character as a bridge could be interesting. To just kind of shot across the bow, saying, "Hey, nothing's sacred." But yeah, I think just to use him for the sake of doing it, there'd have to be a good story behind it, which, I generally trust them with a good hook. But yeah.
Yeah, I mean, here's what I'll say. If the armies were to be personalities, okay, yep, and that sort of a thing, then the only Grand Alliance that isn't full of one-dimensional like pretty flat characters is Order, because Order actually has a pretty wide variety of like attitudes and people in it. Like destruction and death are both monotone as all get out. Chaos is like second most interesting because at least they have something. Like Nurgle that's kind of happy and fun as he fills you with disease and kills you, and the Horned Rat who's this like weird, dubious, not quite a chaos god, wants to be in the club schemer, and like Slanesh who's just innately awesome and interesting and full of all of the greatest things in life. Whereas the other two chaos gods are like unknowable and uncareable. Yep. Like just whatever. So, like I agree with that. It's Order is the one that's just not flat, right? It actually has a quite a range of quote unquote personalities in the armies. Like you've got good guys running around, mind wiping people and stealing souls, that kind of thing. That's fun.
Whoops.
That's fun stuff. Anyway, so that's all our news. There you go. All right. So now it's time for a little pick of the week. Eric, did you come prepared with a pick of the week, my friend?
Yeah, in the kind of jump into Warcry, it's been cool getting to know and finding other content creators that were maybe in 40K or other spaces, and then we're kind of converging through this. And the big one to shout out for me has been Blackjack Legacy on YouTube. he does a Monday night chat with his community, and going through some changes and that sort of stuff, as some people may be going for Malifaux or other things, kind of get introduced to this. And then he put out like right on the heels of the starter set coming out, put out a kind of video showing people kind of how to assemble the terrain set to match all the cards in the starter set, which I thought was just took a little bit of effort, but just went a long way. I've been sharing it left and right. So, but puts out a lot of good content on YouTube. He's pretty active on Twitter and part of the kind of AOS community now, as far as I can tell. And yeah, so Blackjack Legacy.
Nice. Tom, how about yourself?
Yeah, so I've promoted 3D Hexes before. It's a Patreon. He's a creator for like 3D printable files. And I want to highlight him again this month because he did a project that's really close to my heart.
Okay.
And so like as part of this, like this will be all like purchasable. Like you don't have to support him on Patreon to get access to this. You can just go buy the files. But that said, it's like $8 for, to support him per month. And what you would get this month with that is basically like all of the 3D printable Egyptian like Tomb Kings-esque terrain you could ever want.
Nice.
Including like the skulls, the scarab head skull, like the skull head scarabs, and like the Egyptian merged with skulls and death that you see in like all the iconography for TK, or that you used to. And it's in like a format actually that's like assemblable, that actually it looks like the dimensions are really close to the new Sigmar stuff. So like the new Sigmar temple, like the format of the building and the dimensions are almost exact of the new Sigmarite
Dominion
like,
Sigmar stuff.
Dominion Sigmar stuff. Yeah.
Shattered Storm Vault, etc.
Yep. Like all the elements and pieces look like they're 100% compatible. I haven't measured them, but I think they are. I'm going to print them out and test it. But it's super fascinating. And it was a great idea of like what he did here, and it's fantastic. So if you're into 3D printing, I want to spruik him.
Nice. Somebody just asked a question if we're going to speculate about Forge World tonight. You kind of mentioned some stuff and whatever is being chatted up in the comments. And then sure. Josh from Masterpiece Miniatures, hello Josh, had commented that he wants those demon brutes. This wasn't a news item, but it was those, they released the new thing for Horus Heresy, right? These big, awesome looking kind of demons, right?
Yep.
Okay. I don't know who's running the show at Forge World right now. Like, I don't know what's going on in that studio. I know it's changing soon in some way. My guess is probably being brought in-house. My guess is probably coming more under the banner. But who knows? I don't know. I don't know anything. It's all just speculation. They've just said that there's a big change coming.
Right.
But here's what I'll say. Who's in charge of, like, ultimately designing... Like, those models were awesome. These new, like, demon brutes they made. They were fantastic. I don't know if anybody saw them. They were absolutely stunning. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
And why would you make something that awesome and just go, this is only Horus Heresy? Like, why would you not put out rules for AOS? Make them new demons in something. Like, here's a new unit also for AOS. Bang, bang. There you go. Why not? Right? Like, why would you not put them in a White Dwarf with a rule supplement or something, or on an online article or whatever? Right? Here's the War Scroll for free. Don't you want to go buy these expensive Forge World models now? Right? Like, come on, guys.
Yep.
Do you want to make money? I don't understand. You make these awesome models and then make them for like one game system. And that's not a smack on like Horus Heresy not being popular. I understand it's very, very popular. I'm just saying you got like 2 other game systems that are also quite big that you could clearly sell those right into, right?
It costs you nothing.
That would cost you like the time it took you to sit down and bang out a PDF. So like, let's say a week's worth of effort. Legitimately, like I'll give them a full week's worth of effort because a designer had to sit down, think of it, write it. It had to it had to be edited. It had to be approved. It had to be balanced. Points had to be ascribed. It had to be graphic designed. Like there is real work there. So like I'm not going to undercut it. But
no, and I meant just comparatively to what they're
right.
going to make off of it.
To making the model, right? Exactly. Like you're talking about a week to 2 weeks of real time effort by let's say effectively 1 to 2 man hours or man weeks of work, right? And you could sell a ton more of this. Like I don't get it, guys. What's going on? So anyway, yep. So at any rate, just a thing that Josh said. When they released those again, like they had spoiled them sometime back, I think during like the Horus Heresy weekender or whatever. And then, they came out here this last weekend and I was just mind boggled. So there you go. At any rate, okay, my pick of the week has nothing to do with that. My pick of the week is for the most recent episode of Voxcast, which I don't know if everybody pays as much attention to because it's the 40K one. Okay. But they had Aiden on it. Aiden is in the heavy metal team, Aiden Daly. He's a great artist and often one of the judges for Golden Demon. And he spends a lot of time talking about what it means to paint in an heavy metal style, what it means to paint for Golden Demon, and just, stuff like that. He also talks about Space Marines a lot, so you can probably scrub through those parts if you're not interested. That was kind of what I did, to be honest. But it is interesting to hear like how the heavy metal team works. I've talked about it before. I think it's fascinating. I think one of the reasons that they are such good artists is because they work in an insanely collaborative environment where, between the 10 of them, they all give feedback on everyone's work every time, which is just an amazing environment to be in as a painter. And so, yeah, he talks about kind of his journey and he talks about Golden Demon a lot. So if you're interested, as the Golden Demon competition, as we know, is coming to the US this next year or whatever. So thumbs up. That's my pick. Go check it out.
Nice.
All right. Okay. So let's talk about some hobby time. Eric, what's on your desk, buddy?
Oh my gosh, what is not? Actually, right this moment, I am posted a few pictures this week of
I was hoping we were going to talk about this guy.
My ogre tyrant.
Yeah.
Who is he's been on my desk, or he's been in my stuff, partially built for a little over a year. And with the new book coming out, I figured I better dust him off. And in the last 3 days, it's kind of like one of those things where you get so far, you kind of stall a little bit. You don't know where you're going next. And then you have kind of a windfall. And so I've got, I've got like 3 different bits boxes around me and, all of my past foot ogres kind of to inspire and make sure I'm matching and that sort of stuff. And was able to kind of pass a few ideas on our Discord to kind of just get feedback, which has been a really, cool getting that feedback. And now he almost has a little bit of the OCR samurai feel to him with his armor, etc. But so I'm just, he killed a Tyranid hive tyrant and is wearing his carapace as armor is basically what it is. So, and then
which, by the way, I will include Stonemonk's Twitter down in the description. That way you can all go see it because it's an awesome conversion you did there. Like it's amazing how well it came together there. He looks great. And you have to understand that Stonemonk has an entire bug hunter ogre army that's wonderful. So there you go.
Yeah. So it's an excuse to play with 40K models in a way cooler system.
Zing. Got him.
And then I am working on Untamed Beasts. I've got a couple of warbands for Warcry painted up, but that one I've got some big conversions and just kind of, I thought I was going to speed paint through it to just have it painted on the table, but I'm actually trying to take my time a little bit and put some love into them, which is another kind of cool thing about the Warcry warbands is that there's a small enough model count that you can, just take your time with them if you want to.
Sure.
So
sure.
Plus, I was going to not paint any of them until they served me well in battle, which I think is important.
Sure,
to teach them lessons.
They have to earn their paint jobs. Yeah, got it. All right.
Yep. Mm-hmm. And their names.
There you go. Tommy, what's on your desk, buddy? Are you still on Ghost Patrol? You still busting?
I am. It's still working on those hex rates. So I'm getting close. Getting close. I'm really having to make decisions on because I don't have a lot of time to paint, the degree to which I'm going to paint them, and just having to kind of process okay, if I really want to have these done by Havoc, I need to have this and done, and I'm on a week per unit left type of thing.
Sure.
Where I'll have a week to paint my black coach and So, yeah.
You can do it, Tom. I believe in you. I mean, worst case, you can just take 1,000 points instead of 1,500. Like, you don't need the sideboard, so it's fine.
I may or may not be taking a whole bunch of endless spells.
All right. For myself, well, you know, it's that time of year. The sun's getting real low, and the weather is starting to turn. Not really. I mean, it's still been like very hot here all week, but you know, theoretically, it's about to become fall, and as it becomes fall in the Venturella workshop here, that means it's time for only one thing, and that means it's time for some real steel. So we've got a knight on the table, and as you can see, unlike the rest of my knights who are behind me, back here, up there, this one seems to be a little more hunched and leaning forward, and his claws look a little sharper, and his Reaper chainsword looks a little meaner, because he is in fact a fallen knight. Dun dun dun.
Dun, dun, dun.
Yeah, so we're gonna start. I already have my, so you know, my order, or my Imperium, I guess you would say. That's what they would say. Imperium Knight faction is done, or force is done, and so now it's time to turn to the
Slaanesh.
Chaos Knight. Yes, to the Slaanesh infused Chaos Knights. That's exactly correct. Finished up Slaanesh. Time to paint more Slaanesh. That's right. You know, here's
So
the
is it
thing.
going to be like a Sisters of Battle hot pink army? Like hot pink robots?
So I'm basing it on House Divine, which is a house that I think it's the first house that fell to chaos. Okay.
Okay.
And they fell to Slaanesh in a bunch of like incestuous excess. That's a fun little story. Where they worshipped like a snake god and stuff, and then all killed each other, and then that planet fell. And here's the thing about it is there's just not a lot of people did, like, I was looking for inspiration, as I always do when I start a project. First of all, there's no like real official picture of the color scheme of House Divine. There's pictures of their 30K, their Heresy era, Loyalist era, color scheme, but there's like, it just says their color scheme is purple and like pastel purples and pinks, which, yep, great. I'm on board. Not a problem.
Can you squeeze a teal in there?
Of course I can. Of course I can. Don't be insane. Of course I'm going to squeeze a teal in there.
That's the energy weapons.
I woke up at like, I was actually going to bed last night. It was about 1 a.m. And I literally had went to bed and I like shot back up because it suddenly occurred to me exactly how to structure like the panel coloring between purple, pink, and teal, that I had to like turn my phone back on and make a reminder for myself today so I didn't forget it. But anyway, there's not a lot of Slaanesh converted knights. When you look at like the converted knights that are out there to be Chaos Renegade knights, whatever you want to say.
Right. They're all Nurgle.
Nurgle is like way out in front because Nurgle's easy. You just rust it up and muck it up and put tentacles and junk on it. Right? You just like put gross sickness on it. And there's a fair number of corny knights and Zinchi knights because you see people use like magical stuff, right? Khorne being more popular because they have their own big walker that people can borrow or tank. He's not really a walker actually, but big, Lord of War. But like there are so few Slaanesh knights out there, like on the interwebs.
You got to do it with the.
There's very few. What's that?
Sorry, I made a comment about having to like got to make them sexy, and then I read Kathy's comment about how when you shot up, she jumped.
Sure, yeah, like it's the problem is exactly that. You're right. Like, what is the Slaanesh aesthetic when put on a robot? Right, like when you've got a robot that's like supposed to be what, sexy? No, that's not right. That's, you know what I mean? Just like perfect. Excessive, clean,
maybe bored.
Like what is the Slaaneshi aesthetic when put onto a giant robot? And like just hammering extra chaos bits. Like I'm actually mixing because I have just a bunch of knights, and I'm actually using the carapace and the shoulders off of a standard like Imperial Knight. because the Chaos Knight has all these like extra spikes and bits and cracks and imperfections, and I'm like, no, they're literally imperfections, right? That's the opposite of Slanesh, you know?
Well, I mean, I know what I would do, and I don't know how I would do this, but I would look for any opportunity to use Eldar stuff.
Sure, like that's the other problem, right?
It's a little bit sleeker.
Sure.
And because of the curves on it, like I would look for opportunities to maybe use like shoulder plates, like use some of the like the skiffs from the Drudry skiffs to turn those into shoulder plates or something.
Maybe I'll think about more conversions as I get in deeper. Like this is the first one, right? And
Yep.
so this is our first journey into this, right? So like I added some extra chains. That feels appropriate. I added a big extra licky tongue coming out of its mouth. That feels appropriate. And then, you know, basically beyond that, he's you know, some stock mix of Chaos and Imperial Knight.
Right.
Is there any play with like the anthropomorphic or the like humanizing it to make it look like it's in a pleasurable facial expression? Or
do you think you should add boobs? Like, is that what needs to happen?
They don't have a body type where you could get away with that. Like it has no actual torso. Like Imperial Knights have basically no torso.
Can I pitch something?
Yeah.
The endless spells, the Slanesh endless spells. You put a mirror for its face with like the Slanesh head, the tongue's sticking out.
It's too big. Sure, a mirror is like mirrors are a good aesthetic to use. Yes. Like that's super fine. The other one you could pull on is like the old Noise Marine type of stuff, right? Which I might do one of those for a later night, like having it. And some people mentioned it in the comments.
Are you gonna sculpt a guitar for it?
No, I mean because that's just whatever. Like that's cute, right? But like I can see the speakers. Like speakers make sense to me in the place of like missile pods, because like the nature of Noise Marines and the fact that like sound and sonic weaponry is part of their.
Are you following the conversation in the chat?
Yes, I am. Yes.
For for sculpting options.
Sure. Absolutely.
I mean, I'm just saying, like it writes itself.
Sure. So at any rate, I'll continue to experiment. I mean, it'll be this Night Force took me basically 3 years, right? Again, you know, people overestimate what they can accomplish in a year and underestimate what they can accomplish in 10.
Sure.
So I'm not in any rush. This will be a very long project. So I'm tucked in for this guy for the rest of the month plus, you know, like he'll be, these nights that when I do them are very, very, very long projects. So, we're only at the beginning stages now, but this was fun because I wanted to experiment with very clean steel on him because he is very clean. So, but I still had to use a little bit of like oil and rust because he is still a machine. But like I used some of that Molotov chrome to really get like parts and stuff popping out and being hyper reflective and silver and stuff like that. So, yeah, it'll be cool. That's what I'm going to be working on for the next many shows. So there you go. Just get ready for that. Get ready for night updates. All right. So with that out of the way, let's turn to prediction time. Ring-a-ding-ding. We'll predict a thing. Here we go. Okay.
Everybody get your wallets out.
That's right. So here is the way that this competition is going to work, gentlemen. All right. Are everybody ready?
Okay.
Yep.
All right. We are all putting. Basically, one of us is gonna win effectively a kit, and the way that we're doing this is we're all anteing in $20. Okay.
Okay.
Which means that there's $60 on the table.
Woo!
All right, which is basically a kit.
Okay.
So, when we're done with when we're going to make all these predictions, and then in a couple months we're going to come back and check them and determine who the winner is once they're all out. And the winner is the one who has the most correct predictions. Now, I hear what you say. Who judges correctness? Okay, since we've all got something on the table. Good question. We all have to agree. Panel vote, 2 out of 3. It's a correct thing if it's not obvious. There you go. Okay?
Okay.
All right. Because for Tom, he'll say like he'll get one word out of his sentence that'll be kind of close, and he'll be like, "That was a correct prediction."
Did you say Tom or Paul?
I've seen similarities.
Uh,
So, at any rate,
Love you, Paul. Love you, Paul.
absolutely. At any rate, that's what we're going to do. So, I will note all of our predictions as we're going along. Okay. And we are going to then keep a record of this. And so you may hear typing every so often because I'm not going to actually write it out. That'll be insane. But we're going to go through all 3 books. We're going to make predictions, and all of them will be recorded. Sound good?
Yeah.
All right. Okay. And people in the comments punching holes in my betting system, don't worry about it. It doesn't need to be that serious, okay? All right. Here we go. All right. So let us begin with our first book, which is, we're going to start, sorry.
I was going to say, is this your first prediction?
Cities of Sigmar. That's where we're beginning. Okay. Let me get rid of the, bring the Cities of Sigmar picture in. There we go. All right. So, Cities of Sigmar. Eric, you're the guest. You get first prediction.
Yeah. Here's what I want to have happen versus I don't know how far they'll go because we've lost a number of things, but we're also kind of bringing a lot of things together. So it's not like I don't feel like there's a strong through line between everything to where I don't know if they were to add something, is it going to enhance something that exists, or is it going to be something that brings them all together? But what I want to have happen at the risk, I'm wish listing a little bit here, but I think some sort of cog artillery piece that makes rocket batteries and the miniguns obsolete. Well, maybe not obsolete, but at least there's nothing that shows the height of human or free city innovation. And I think that's a piece that we need to get, which is a big cog tank walker gun that they're going to get.
All right. So you're predicting, is this some kind of new war machine or artillery type of thing? Is that what you're saying?
Yeah. And now
Okay.
do I get 2 years on this?
What is it? No. This is with the release.
Okay. I'm gonna put some of my dollars on a gun.
All right. I'm putting new cog-based artillery piece. That is your officially recorded prediction.
That's what I'm saying.
All right.
Chat, what do you think?
We'll round robin, okay? Everybody, we'll do 2 or 3 predictions each. We all have to do the same number, obviously, right? Because otherwise, this doesn't work. All right, Tom, your prediction.
No new unit plastic kits.
No new unit plastic kits.
Yes.
0 new things. That's your all right.
Right.
Okay.
For units, like
define what you mean there. If we get a repack, does that count?
No, because it's not new. So we're talking about like let me say it this way. I can imagine them rewriting war scrolls and maybe renaming them.
Of course.
Right?
Yep.
But what I'm talking about is like I'm calling the exact opposite of what Eric just called, which is like I'm imagining a new kit coming out that's a cog. No, none of that. No, like we might get terrain, we might get endless spells. Like I don't know, but we're not getting new units. Like there are no new plastic kits coming.
Fair.
Okay. All right. So Tom's first prediction: no new plastic kits of any type. Okay. Cool.
Like no, I didn't say that it has to be a unit. So like I'm not weighing in on endless spells. I'm not weighing in on terrain. I don't know.
That's fine. No new plastic units. I understand. So you're allowing for terrain or endless spells or something like that.
Yeah, those are possibilities, but units themselves, like, it's not happening.
Okay.
Can I make the clarification that I'm not distinguishing between unit or
you can.
terrain?
You can. So Tom opening out of the gate with the weakest possible prediction, going for a layup. We got Eric over here shooting from the half court line. Tom's just laying it up. All right.
Sure.
Sounds good.
I don't mind being a disappointment.
Sure. Okay. So here's my. I'll start with my prediction on allegiance abilities and how this book is actually going to be divided, because there's a lot of ways you could split this up. I think we all expect that the sort of Firestorm allegiances are going to play a part in this. We know that to a point, right? Because they've said like Greywater Fastness is in there, and the steam tanks have our battle line in that, and those kind of things. So there's some stuff we know there, right? Okay.
Right.
My prediction for allegiance abilities is this. The core 3 races, men, elves, and dwarves, okay? All have one static allegiance ability that only they benefit from, a la Gloomspite gets. Okay? Everything else will be derided from the city itself, including additional allegiance abilities, artifacts, spells, prayers, the whole deal. Okay? So every city will have its own list of all that crap. So, like, here's your command traits, here's your spells, here's your prayers, and so on and so forth. Does that make sense?
I mean, yeah.
So effectively, all of them are empowered in, like, all of them are very, the city choice becomes extremely heavy, is what I am saying. Does that make sense?
Yep.
Okay. So. All right. So there are 3 basic race abilities, 3 basic race allegiance abilities. And everything else is city dependent. If you want a comparison here, a la the Skaven book, right? That would be the easiest comparison. Fair enough?
Yep.
Okay. There you go. That's my first prediction. Eric, prediction second.
Let's see. I feel like since Tom covered the no new unit models, I feel like the choices are either rules predictions, boring,
Sure.
or leaning more heavily into. So I think maybe a more subdued kind of prediction would be perhaps a new, and it's been interesting with the kind of Eldar stuff that's coming out, or the what's the not forbidden power because it's AOS. What's the Psychic Awakening?
Yeah.
Kind of just like splashing in some of these heroes. I'm gonna keep more. I'm gonna entertain. I'm gonna spend my $20 entertaining the crowd. I'm gonna say the dwarves. There's gonna be a new dwarf hero. There's gonna be a new elf hero, and there's gonna be a new human hero.
You mean War Scroll wise? Like you're saying, are you saying new model, or are you saying new War Scroll?
New model. I think.
Wow.
Here's the thing. I want to be a skeptic and say there's nothing new, and
Does Gotrek count as your dwarf model?
Oh, you know what? I'm gonna say he could after the dust clears.
Okay. So if they made a new elf hero and a new human hero, right, and then we didn't actually get a new dwarf, we're still gonna call it correct because we got Gotrek.
Yep.
Sure.
Okay.
Sure.
Fair enough.
And here's the thing, because I know we've got the Bone Reapers coming, and they're kind of like the big splurge. And I'm feeling bullish on some ogre models. Wink, wink. I think there might be some. I don't know. I feel like it's one of those things where you could sit here and go, "There's nothing new," because they're spending their capital on these other ones. But I feel like that's just at the point where they surprise us. But
well, it's not that beyond the pale. I mean, we did see now they've released like all of the new mini Space Marine. I mean, Space Marines are a lot more popular than what we're talking about here, but nonetheless, all of the new Space Marine mini codices or supplements or whatever we're going to call them, right? Each of them got a new hero model, right? So they just revealed the Imperial Fist and Salamander guy today. as an example. And then obviously you've got like Shrike and the Iron Hands guy and the White Scars dude, and then the other guy who I don't know what he is. So, so it's not crazy what you're predicting. Like, they have shown a temperament to like release just some kind of supplement with a single figure to sort of support it, right?
And I think they're getting more into that, in terms of like little releases and little add-ons here and there, and not being afraid to like, because they know that they can do more later.
Sure.
In little bits, or through underworlds.
Yeah. No, legit. All right. That is not as far out as your first prediction. I'm with that. All right, Tom. Prediction second. Ring a ding ding, Tom.
So this one's a 2-part prediction.
Oh, okay.
Tom, you should predict the opposite just to cover the spread.
Tom, if you give a 2-part prediction, both parts have to be true for you to get points for this.
I know.
Okay, go for
it. The first part A, they're the only cities that we are getting in this are the cities from Firestorm.
No new cities, but every city from Firestorm?
Yes.
Okay.
And part B of the same prediction is that there will not be rules for generic cities.
There will not be rules for generic cities. In other words, everything in this book has to come from one of these. Like, you must dictate allegiance to one of these cities. That's what you're saying, right?
Yeah.
It is non-functional outside of that.
Yes, there will not be. My prediction is that there will not be a, like, a la Caradron Overlords, build your own city, like build your own code option. Like, I'm going to call it that they're literally going to limit themselves to the cities from Firestorm.
Or like create your own Space Marine chapter.
Right. That will not be what they do.
Can you simply can you sacrifice all allegiance abilities and get nothing? Except for the 3, like, let's say I'm correct and there's like 3 generic abilities. Can I just be Cities Allegiance and use the standard battle line and still declare Cities Allegiance without declaring a particular city?
No. You will. I think, like you had said, that they're going to be heavy. Like, the cities are going to be heavy. I think the cities are going to be so heavy that you're not only forced to take a city, that the only cities available are the Firestorm cities. I don't think that we'll have a create your own city.
Okay. All right. All right. My second prediction. Here we go. It had to be the one I made. Somebody did mention in the comments, but it was going to be my second prediction if one of you didn't take it. Since I'm going last here. Tank Commander. Tank Commander. We're going to have a hero steam tank. Okay? It will be a new war scroll. It will be the existing steam tank model. And it will be an actual character. It will add the hero keyword to the steam tank. And if you're in Greywater Fastness, where he can be your general, which will also make steam tanks battle line and maybe allow you to take 5 of them or something like that. That's not part of my prediction. That's just a guess. Then, you can give him like command traits and artifacts and have souped up freaking magical weapon wielding tanks shooting and driving their way around the board. That is my prediction. I want that more than anything. That would be amazing. So there you go. Hero. So the basic point is hero steam tank war scroll. Basically a version of it. Could be a special character or a generic character. I will count it either way. I'm not going to bet on that, but I do hope it's generic, as I think that would be cool because then it could take stuff. So
yeah,
hero steam tank war scroll. Please don't make it a special character. Don't Vordrai me when there's no generic version. Like, Prince Vordrai is fine because there's a generic Velazda, right? It would be insane to just make a special character version. So, all right. Okay. Third prediction. Final prediction. Yes, it's just a hero stank. That is my prediction, Brian S. A hero steam tank. So yes, the hero steam tank could take the thermal rider cloak, for example, and become a flying steam tank. I put wings and jets on the side of that thing. Okay. So go ahead.
This is not meant to call out Tom or create a lot of tension for the rest of this episode, but
Uh-oh.
I'm going to go the opposite, that there will be a free city generator just to make Coach happy.
Okay. You're saying in the book, printed in
Yep.
the book, not as a web supplement or something like that.
Correct.
There will be a generate your own free city.
Yep. And it'll be
Now-
created just for Coach.
I
Will
won't
it have
count that as part of your prediction.
will it have rules, or will it have like just names?
No, I do think that I feel like they're playing in that space more and giving, like, people want that, right? They want to kind of customize and make it their own. And if you're going to do that, Free Cities is a fantastic place to do that. And
Totally agree.
especially if they're not going to give them any models, I feel like you need to make them very personal.
All right, I'm not going to force you to put this in your prediction. You can predict whatever more or less you like, but we should address it. Are we talking about successor chapters here, right? Where you can make up your own, space squid hunters, okay? But space squid hunters are a successor chapter of Imperial Fists, right? And so you use the rules for Imperial Fists, but you're the space squid hunters, right?
And basically,
Is
you
it like
use
that, or is it
as-
like actually you go through and you get to assemble rules of some kind?
I don't know. I mean, I think it would be good for them to do like a hammer haul and then do kind of like a detachment from there that they can make interesting, or like a, what would you call that? A province of hammer haul, something out further or something like that.
Sure.
I don't know if they've established them enough yet. Like, I feel like they should do that. Like, if they were going to do that with the Stormcast, not that you need successor chapters, but like, how do you bring more character to that? But
More what I was pointing at was, it's like you can make your own city. So there's a bunch of tables, you roll, this is the name.
Yep.
It's Hallow Bastion or whatever, and it's and it's in the realm of Haish, and it consists of these races, right? But in the end, you have to then pick what city's rules it's actually using. So you can name it whatever, but then you have to pick one of the 7 or whatever allegiances for it to be.
I think it'll be custom rules that you can pick from.
Okay. All right.
just-
Going big.
I'm gonna go that.
Do you want that in your prediction?
Yes.
Okay. You're a bold man, and I like it.
I'm not greedy. I want to dream.
Okay. All right. Tom, prediction the third, last one for cities. Go. What do you got?
I'm gonna go a little bit out there. This is probably not accurate.
Okay.
I'm gonna preface this call with this statement.
Okay.
But Stormcast from specific cities will be assigned their storm host.
Define what you mean, please.
For example, those from Tempest Eye will have to be Astral Templars.
Oh, okay. Will they benefit from those rules?
Well, they may gain the storm host keyword, but that's going to be meaningless because the only thing that it will do is ultimately restrict, at least right now, like those that aren't Hammers of Sigmar. Because like Hammers of Sigmar are the only ones that are like keyword specific. But like, so in these cities have always had an allegiance with those particular storm hosts, and I think that will carry over in this book. I don't know that there's going to be rule significance to that.
Okay.
Right? But I think that it will be like it will call out specific storm hosts associated with certain cities.
Okay. So they will benefit, but you don't need to make this part of your prediction, that's fine. But just to clarify what you're implying, you're saying they gain like the Astral Templar keyword or something. They're still rolled in to the city's allegiance, right? They're still getting that city's allegiance abilities. They're not inheriting, like, I don't have to go pick up my Stormcast book and go find the rules for Astral Templars, and now this little portion of my unit benefits from that or whatever.
No, because that's all associated with Stormcast Eternal's allegiance, and so they will get some element of something from the city's stuff. They won't, like, to be clear, they're not going to gain Stormcast Eternal's abilities.
Got it. Yep.
Okay, but they may gain something specific for Stormcast Eternals in the Allegiance stuff or whatever. But I think that, like, the call here, though, is that there's an association between the storm hosts and particular cities.
Okay. All right. Got it. Okay.
I dig it.
All right. So here's I'll make a.
I'm sorry. And yes, Brian S is right. Tempest Eye is Tempest Lords, not Astral Templars.
Sure.
Whatever.
I still took your meaning. Yes.
Yes. Like, you can go look up in the Firestorm stuff and see, like, what storm hosts go with what cities. That's what they're going to follow.
Sure.
That's what I'm going to call.
Okay. So here's my prediction. I'll make one negative prediction, not negative like bad, like negative as in I will predict a thing that isn't there.
Okay.
This book will not have any chamber equivalent. Okay.
Okay.
So like, I assume everybody knows what I mean. But I'll explain. So like, in Daughters of Cain, you can take Hagnar or Calibron or whatever, and it sets certain things. In the Stormcast book we just mentioned, you can be Astral Templars or Hammers of Sigmar or whatever, right? And that then unpacks some set of abilities for all of your troops. Like, all Astral Templars do this thing, and your commander has this trait, and your first artifact must be this, and whatever, right? Gristlegore in Flesh Eaters and Goretide in Khorne, none of that will be present here. You do not have, we will not have any chamber concept or anything like that in the Cities of Sigmar.
You don't think that the cities themselves will have, like, a required item and command trait and...
Nope.
Okay.
I think they will unpack through allegiance abilities like Skaven, who also don't have that thing, right? But, like, what I'm saying is they will just leave that particular design tool to the side because they don't need it in this case. Then making the city heavy enough through those initial selections and allegiance abilities will be enough. There you go.
So
that will also let them keep the page count in line for my first prediction.
What if they have some of that? Like, what if they have allegiance, or what if they have command abilities for each city, or required item, or like specialized items for each city?
You're saying, like what if the allegiance ability itself is so heavy that it even includes stuff like that, which we haven't traditionally seen, right?
So, like, what I'm saying is that traditionally, like, so what you're putting your finger on is that they're not going to have, like, the standard suite of ability, command ability, item. What's the other one?
Command trait, command ability.
Yeah, there you go.
Artifact and generic rule.
Okay. At what point can they have some of that and not be that thing?
Gotcha. Sure.
Because, like, if it's just those four, well, okay, maybe. But, like, I could easily see a world where they're like saying everybody in this allegiance gains this ability and gains a new command ability.
Right. So you're saying if that doesn't
command traits.
Yeah, sure. My answer is I guess we'd have to tell, but here's what I'll say. If those cities are literally so heavy that they basically wrap in those four things without using those words, then I'm wrong. Okay? But if it's just like, well, a couple of them have command abilities that they get access to or something like that, right? If that was what it was, like, well, if you're in Tempest Eye, you get a command ability that does this or something. I'm going to say no, I'm still correct, right? Because that's just part of their allegiance ability. Fair enough?
Yeah, that's fair.
Okay, cool. And then just to answer a comment real quick, Autumn in the comment, Autumn Lotus predicted that all conditional battle line units get replaced with battle line if in X city. Yes, we know that's true. They already said that this book is extremely conditional battle line heavy, and that battle line if aligning to the cities is going to be a major component of it. They did say that. So, yep, absolutely. All right, gentlemen, we have made our predictions. I have them all locked in. Okay, so next up.
I'd like to review your plans for security of this list.
I'll put it in. I'll upload it to the Mortal Realm SharePoint that I assume I now have access to, being part of the family.
Oh yeah, we definitely use the worst.
For sure. Absolutely. Absolutely. All right, next up is the Orruk Warclans. We saved the best for the middle. So the Orruk Warclans, we have to rotate the order this time. All right. So, Tom, you get to be the first on this one with your prediction because we can't all go in the same order. Otherwise, that's, whatever.
Okay. I'm gonna step out of my desire or my cold logic and go to desires, and I'm gonna say they're gonna have endless spells.
Okay. All right. So you're okay. Got it. They will have endless spells. All right. Okay.
And one of them may or may not be a body part.
Okay. Very good. I assume for both, like, endless spells for any of the Warclans. Like, we do know, by the way, things we know for sure is that this contains Ironjaws and Bone Splitters and a third sort of allegiance, which is like the Great Green Horde, which is all of them combined. So,
right.
There you go. That's our known element. Okay, cool. There you go. Prediction locked and loaded. All right, I will go next. And I'm going to start with my previous bold prediction. Here we go. You ready? Here is my bold prediction. Ironjaws, as far as, like, their allegiance and all non-mega battalions, but all their artifacts, their spells, their command traits, and their current allegiance abilities will be a duplicate reprint of GHB 19, because it is actually the other way around, right? Like, they were already finished for this book, and they copy and pasted them into GHB 19, and that's the only reason that GHB 19... That's the reason why Ironjaw's got this, like, amazing build-out in GHB 19, and everybody went, why? Why did Ironjaws get all this wonderful love and treatment, right, when nobody else seemed to get much attention? And the answer is, by pure happenstance and luck, that part of the book was already finished and through editing, and so they did some copy pasta, and all of the battalions and allegiance abilities, command traits, artifacts, spells will all be the same. The only thing I'm not putting money on in this is the mega battalions. Those have been in flux, and I'm going to leave that out of my prediction. So it will be an exact reprint of GHB 19. All right.
All right. My first prediction, because I've predicted, but you can't go big everywhere.
Oh, by the way, just to clarify, I meant for the Ironjaws. I said that, right? I'm not saying that's also for Bone Splitters or something. Okay, cool.
My first prediction is just a book.
Ah, just a book. All right. Eric's going with the just a book call on this one.
Sure.
All right.
Sure. My next one's going to be crazier, but
sure. Just a book. So no spells, no terrain, no new models, right? That's what your statement here is. Okay. Correct. We are getting it will be a book, and that is all. And you shut your mouth, orc players, and you be happy with it. Be happy we didn't kill the rest of your precious babies. Okay. All right. Tom, back around to you. Quick one on the first round. Prediction 2. Tom.
I'm thinking.
Sure. Think away. It's all right. You can think. I'll answer a comment while you're doing that. I made this little prediction, and somebody said bold call, and somebody said that's a super safe bet. So I don't know where I'm at. I'm somewhere in the middle, I think, with my call. I really do think that I cottoned onto it there. That's what happened with GHB 19. Like, that's all just guesswork. I have obviously no knowledge about that. But my real and honest true belief is that that's what happened. And they just went, yeah, that's fine. Just use those. It'll save us time. Somebody shipped up a Word file and they were good to go. They dropped it into InDesign or whatever. Whatever they write in, I don't know.
Is there was there one item chart for Ironjaws?
Yes. Mm-hmm. There is only one item chart. One set of command traits, one set of items, one set of spells for Ironjaws.
I'm going to go out there and say that I think that there's going to be a battalion that is going to merge both Ironjaws and Savage Orcs. And so you said there's going to be
You're saying
new
one mega battalion? I didn't say there's no new battalions. I said I wasn't. I'm saying all the Ironjaw battalions will be reprinted exactly as they are.
Okay. I'm going to say there are going to be some new battalions that are going to involve Ironjaw units and Savage Orc units.
Okay, I'll call that that is some weak sauce call because we know the Mega Green Horde is there and it contains both, and so assumingly they'll get a battalion at least. But all right.
Okay, hold on. No, I'll back off and think of something else.
All right.
Go ahead and Eric while I'm thinking.
All right, that's fine. Oh, we'll all go since that's next in the order. That's fine. Okay. Here is my bold call. All right. Bone Splitters. They are going to rewrite completely the Bone Splitter synergy interaction crap. So you're not rolling 1,000 dice during the hero phase and making so Cunninruck can be a thing again. Like, this will come under control and be rewritten. So the answer is not make 160 shots in your hero phase and then again in your shooting or whatever. They will completely sideline that. And at best, they'll have like an Astral Templars where you can shoot in the hero phase once or something. Maybe. But that will be... But, like, they will vastly change the way that works. They'll still be a weight of dice army. Savage Orcs are a weight of dice army. I'm just arguing that they're going to get rid of the, like, put a ridiculous number of shots in the air type of thing. There you go.
I'm on board with that. All right, my number 2.
Oh, can I jump in real quick?
Oh, yeah.
So my call is going to be that I think that of the Savage Orcs, they're going to do the standard flipperoo. And so the standard units of the Cunninruck are going to become the like disproportionately underpowered compared to the Boar Boy units.
Oh, okay, I got it. So you're saying when they do the rebalance, suddenly the Boar Boys are real good and the Foot Boys are like now bad.
The Boar Boys and or the Maniacs. Like
gotcha.
One of those
Yeah. The Boar Riders.
The Boar Riders or the other like ones that are the standard Savage Orc shoot or like so what they're gonna do is they're just gonna flip flop power levels like they always do. Or like I accuse them of always doing. Yeah.
Yep. Okay. So basically the boys, right? The mobs of the boys, as it were now. Okay.
Will
which are currently the thing that makes up your army, will become the weak sauce. And the Boar Boys and the Boar Boy... What's that?
The non-optimal build.
Yes.
Like those will become the non-optimal option.
That's fine. Non-optimal build. I'll use your exact words. And the Boar Boys and Maniacs will Yeah. I'm just saying... yeah, that's fair. I'll absolutely. That and/or is relevant. And/or Maniacs will be the new hotness and the powerful build. Okay, cool. That's a good one. Very nice. I like that, Tom. I like that. So like, yes, because the basic melee boys and shooting boys will basically be the underpowered choice, and like the Boar Boys or whatever will be the good ones. Okay. Interesting. All right. Now, Eric, your second prediction.
Maw Crushers.
Oh boy. You're saying a word I like.
Will be summonable. They'll be
in the Great Green Horde under. Okay, like just that's your. You could probably stop there, and you're making a bold call.
The ability to kind of call in reinforcements or let the wall like draw troops to the battle to increase your force along the way. So maybe it's similar to kind of a Flesh Eater Courts type of thing, but I think a Maw Crusher will be included in that. Like you'll be able to call in a Maw Crusher is going to show up and not wreck as much face as you hope, but you'll be excited.
So the Great Green Horde will be able to summon Maw Crushers with their summoning ability. Okay, nice. All right, that's a pretty bold call. All right, I like it. And the answer to that, so who just joined and he wanted to know what are we doing in predictions, and he said, shouldn't this be out in like 2 weeks? I actually expect the pre-order announcement this Sunday. Let me just say that. But
that was my next call.
Nope, too bad, stole it.
No,
not an official prediction. Yes,
Oh,
the common belief is that this Sunday, when they do the announcement for what's on next week's pre-order, so like this Sunday, what is that, the 19th, 20th, 21st, 22nd is when they'll do the pre-orders for Saturday, the things that go on pre-order Saturday the 28th, and that will be the day that you can pre-order that, meaning the books will actually release the first week of October. Whee, dates. All right, there you go. Yes, I mean, I think that's a pretty well-established thing that will likely happen. You're not getting free credit for that one, Tom. All right, Tom, back to you. Now make a prediction now that I knocked your win right out of your sails on that.
Okay, you ready?
Uh-huh.
There will be a new Iron Jaws unit.
Oh, okay. Are you going for the elusive mega boss on boar? Or are you saying a war scroll? Like, is this a new model kit or a
As
new
much
scroll?
I would love to be bold like that.
Mm-hmm.
I'm going to suggest that we're going to get with the book the Beastgrave brute, the new unit.
Oh, okay. Sure. Got it. Yeah, well, yeah. That seems like, nope, that's, you got me. You got me on that one. It's good. Beastgrave IJ unit will be in the book and count as a new unit. That's basically cheating, but I like it. It's good. All right. Very.
Hey, you didn't let me choose the other one that I was going to choose, which is next.
You got me diagonally. Pretty sneaky, sis. All right, there you go. Okay. Nice. I like it. All right. So, here is I will go for I'll take I'll take the counter money for Eric's prediction. Okay?
Okay.
And I think this would actually align well with yours as well, Tom.
Okay.
And I am going to say that the summoning that the Great Green Horde does will be restricted to the weedy units of these armies only. So, what I mean by that is, and I'll get specific, okay?
Yep.
So you get your various flavors of, the basic boys, your shooty boys, your stabby boys, basically, in the Bone Splitters, and Ard boys in the Iron Jaws, okay? And it will function a lot, not exactly like, but function a lot like the Goblin ability, where it only works on those basic units, right? The difference will be it has to do with, instead of a unit getting wiped out, it will just have to do with combat in some way, okay? So the more of your units that are fighting, the more chance you have to summon up more of your, let's call them basic boys.
Yep.
Does that make sense?
I like it.
Okay.
Fundamentally disagree, but I like it.
All right, so summoning for Great Green Wah. That's fun to type. Basic boys only from 2 forces and reliant on units in combat to summon. All right, cool. Because that would seem to align with what these armies want to do. It would also natively make shooting armies weaker, right? Like, that could make part of your prediction true, because if you have the ability to summon a bunch of these dudes, they would naturally want to make those scrolls weaker. Yeah. And that, you know what I mean? Like, so, there you go. It would also make shooting builds less valuable in the Great Green Wall and force them to make them more melee. Yep. Yeah. Yep. It would do lots of nice adjacent things that they would probably enjoy. And get rid of a play style that... does anyone actually enjoy that? I don't know. I can't imagine, but here we are. All right, Eric, your final prediction for the Orruk Warclans.
I think I thought I had one in the hopper.
I'm ready.
I'm gonna say that the War Chanter will be able to be in both, like be able to work with Bone Splitters.
Oh, interesting. Okay.
Like the War Chanter.
Do you want the Bone Chanter or the Shaman?
No, the war chanter with the two big drumsticks.
Okay. Yep.
I guess I mean the war chanter is also I mean like, but the war chanter just seems like a big bone splitter.
Sure. He is armored, but not as much yet.
Yeah. So I mean I feel like he could cross over there and just amp them up.
Okay. Gotcha. All right. And it should be noted that his ability to +1 you is restricted to melee. So,
Yep.
he it's not like he would be buffing the shooting boys or something like that if he came over there. So,
Right.
okay, cool. That's an interesting prediction. That would be quick mention of some comments. Gordrak will be worth his points finally. No, there's no world where that happens. None of us are insane enough to predict that. And somebody was sad that we didn't make a prediction about the boar boss. I mean, look, we all wish it happened. It's not going to happen. So, there you go. But hey, look, that's one I would gladly eat my hat on if it happened. So there you go.
Like, if they had gotten a different box, maybe.
Sure. It'd be a great world to live in, where that sort of exists. But I don't think it's going to be the case. All right. So that brings us to our third and final book to do our predictions on. But now, Da Ogres. All right. So, sorry, let me just size this guy up so he's correct. There we go. Brought the tyrant up on screen for the Mawtribes. I figured he would be a fitting representative. So I'll kick this one off. Eric, you'll go second, and Tom, you get the last award for this one.
Yep.
Okay.
Yep.
So here is my prediction. We know, things we know about ogres. We know there is a book because they accidentally confirmed that without realizing it during the Nova Open preview. So that was nice of them. And even though we all guessed there was a book, but they hadn't officially said there was a book yet. And then they said, oh, yeah, there's a book. Cool. Thanks, guys. And we know that this new tyrant model is coming. They actually had this new tyrant dude in the glass case at Nova. So here is my prediction for the ogres. Other than the aforementioned Beastgrave unit.
Yep.
The only new plastic kits will be the Tyrant, and they will also make a new Butcher. Okay? Mm-hmm. However, they will keep the other Finecast stuff that isn't being 86 directly by the Beastgrave unit. So the Man-Eaters are going to be in here, and the Firebelly is going to be in here. And that is my prediction. So we will get 2 new plastics, the Tyrant and the Butcher. Like a new version of a Butcher. Probably Sans Cauldron, but that's not part of my prediction. That's just speculation. And these
are all unit predictions, right?
Correct. And like Man-Eaters and Firebellies will stay. And we already talked earlier about how we think they'll cheat the new Hunter and Cats in, right? That's not part of my prediction. My prediction is new plastic units for the official release, i.e. not Beastgrave, is Tyrant and Butcher. And everything else stays. They're not going to 86 the Man-Eaters or they'll stick around like those things did with Skaven.
Okay.
I can take the Beastgrave one, right?
No, we've said it like 8 times now. We can't do that one again. Tom cheated his way in sneakily with the brutes.
All right.
But we kept that one.
I'm going to say the new Goblin Wolf Riders are going to be playable in this book.
Ooh. All right.
Because, I think that they're going to fit in this hunter space.
Okay. All right. I like where your head's at. Not part of your prediction. Don't have to count this. Do you think those things will also like suddenly show up in Gloomspite Gits in some way? Like, will they also be takeable by the Gits army? Or will this literally be their home and their army?
So the ogres traditionally have their own grots.
Yep. They do.
Yep.
And I don't want to make any predictions there at the moment. But I think that these guys with their kind of their fur caps with the little horns fit really well with within this space, and it just might give them a different mobility that they don't have a lot of. Well, on the small scale, on the foot, if you're running more the Mawtribe style.
Nice. All right. Very, very nice. Okay. All right. I dig it. Tom, your first prediction for the Mawtribes.
Okay, I'm gonna go something aggressive.
Dun dun dun. Oh, by the way, we are also assuming that that both regular ogre. I don't want nobody can call this a prediction because this has more or less been alluded to. That the ogres and BCR are all going to be in this book. That's more or less been confirmed. Right. So okay, yep. Sorry, that was just another level set to make. I'm sorry. Please go ahead.
Well, I'm gonna step on Eric's toes, and I'm gonna push farther. I think that there's a third part of this equation that we haven't considered, and I think it's the Noblars. Okay, and I think that, like Eric, you were alluding to this, but here's the call. I think that the third leg of this book, beyond BCR and standard ogres, is the Noblars, and I think that we will see. I'm going to take it one step farther. So this would maybe be something where like both of us are potentially right. In that not only do you get those wolf riders, I think that we will see the reemergence of Gitmob.
Wow.
And it may not be called Gitmob.
Sure.
But I think that you're going to see that like what was Gitmob rolled in as the Noblar faction. And so it may be all new kits. Like I don't know necessarily they're going to keep the old kits. But what I'm saying is that I think that there is going to be a significant wing of this army that are Noblars that are Gitmob. Like that are functionally, they adopt that aesthetic and lean into like and it could be like, so to be clear, I'm not saying that we're just going to get Gitmob 2.0. Like that everything.
You're not saying it has its own complete allegiance ability, a la the Great Green Wa or something, that you take like an all Goblin army. Nope. You're saying that there will be a significant Goblin component to this.
Yes, but then they may just call them Noblars, right?
Sure.
Or Grots. But and I think that like the whole like old Snotling world that we were in.
Sure.
Right. Like I think that we're going to get some new kits.
Okay. So basically, basic goblins will be the third wing of the army. Some new kits to support this. Right, that would be the argument. That's a bold enough call on its own. I don't need you to get more specific. Like saying we're going to get new basic goblin kits as part of this. That is a hell of a called shot. Like you are pointing out into left field.
I am not, and I'm like I think it will be the wolves and.
Yeah, I gotcha.
I don't know how many more. Like it could just be a little shaman.
Some number one or greater.
Yes, that we are going to, and that these are going to be it will be the third leg of the ogre faction.
And what I like about this, and that's where I don't know that I was ready to jump. I mean, like in my head I am, but I don't for prediction. I wasn't sure, but I mean the thing that I get why Greenskins or Gitmob went in terms of like part of the Gloomspite, because Gloomspite is about creepy, scary goblins.
Sure. Cave dwellers, coming up out of the deepest, darkest, dankest holes, right? That's what it was.
Yep. And so I think they serve the purpose of showing us that grots can be, terrible, terrible things. In an ogre army, you need some comedy relief still.
Right. Right.
And like the role of the Noblars historically in the ogres is to humanize the ogres in terms of like them tolerating another race and using them and etc. But also kind of, again, the little bit of comedy there with the big and the small. I think wasn't it halflings before that?
Yep.
So I think I like it. I hope that they do it, and I'm behind you 100% if that's the case.
And to put a finer point on this, and this is not part of the prediction, but this is just fleshing out it gives weight to the rest of the Noblar kits, like the scrap launcher and stuff like that. That's already in the line, right? It gives a new home to those things.
Yep.
If you've added some additional kind of like legs on this kit, on these kits. Like, and so like maybe it's like the Noblar, like the trappers that used to be a unit, right? Like a trap unit.
Yep.
Maybe something along those lines. Like that's where my head's at.
They worked a little bit like fanatics and
Yeah.
Okay. Nice.
some tools.
Yep.
Okay. All right. Nice.
Get on the train, Vince.
Hey, look. It's not my prediction to take. It's a bold call. I like it. All right. So I'm up next. So my second prediction here, okay?
Yep.
Will be on the is going to be on BCR basically, okay? And sort of the nature of how the allegiance abilities work in this book. I think they will model this very much after the way they've described Orruk Warclans working. So that is to say, I think there will be a specific allegiance for sort of traditional ogres, a specific allegiance for BCR, and there will also be something like a combined force, okay? That actually does show, but those will be 3 distinct verticals in the book, okay?
Okay.
And in the only way that you access the individual allegiance abilities will be if you pick that specific army and stick into it. My prediction is that the ogre's new allegiance abilities, I'm going to go ahead and make the call that the ogres get their sort of the only unified shared thing across all 3 is they get the sort of large and in charge capability. Okay? So that what I mean by that is they get the ability to hold objectives based on something that isn't models. Okay?
Mm-hmm.
Based on whatever, something that speaks more to their ultra elite nature, right? It could be wounds, it could be something else. They could just get, maybe their battle line can beat anybody else's thing. You know what I mean? Something like that, right? They count as 20, could be anything, right? I don't know. I'm not going to put a number on that because there's 10 different ways they could design it and all would be legitimate, and I have no concept of what they would do. But their only shared rule across all 3 allegiances will be that all 3 get some version of that large and in charge thing.
Who has that now?
No, Custodes in 40K, right. You know, or whatever, like a couple of different things like that in 40K. Like the ultra elite forces of 40K have a thing like that where like any Custodes unit can take things away from non-battle line in of other armies, and battle line Custodes can, 3 battle line Custodes can hold an objective from like 30, Eldar dum-dums or whatever. That's one of their units, right? Okay. Yep. All right. So there you go. That's my second prediction.
All right. My number 2. We are getting a Great Maw Endless spell.
All right.
It is going to chew. It is going to still be as unpredictable as ever, but it will be voracious, and it will be the new Purple Sun.
Okay.
Just kidding.
The new, well, I don't know. Purple Sun's not too shabby anymore at 50 points. It's pretty decent. But yes, okay. So we are getting a Maw Endless spell. Right on. Not part of your prediction, but do you think it's going to look like, is it going to be a chompy maw like the existing Ravanax Gnashing Jaws, or is it going to be a sucking maw like the Sarlacc Pit that sort of has been traditionally defined as?
Yeah, I think it'll be more the latter. It'll be, kind of, something coming up out of the ground, kind of something between a gnaw hole and the, the one you mentioned.
Oh yeah, nice. So like like a gnaw hole plus a mouth, basically, yep. Right? Okay, cool. Yeah, right. All right. The maw hole, yes. Okay, got it. All right. The only part of your prediction I'm counting there is obviously that we are getting a Maw endless spell. That was just interesting. There's the prediction and then there's the interesting speculation on top.
What do you think it's gonna look like?
Yeah, right on. All right, Tom. Next prediction.
Do you want me to go bold?
Yeah, you do whatever you want, man. You go ahead. Why not? Let's do this.
That the Pair Army in Feast of Bones is not actually undead.
Wait, the what?
So in the dual army box that's coming, Feast of Bones.
Yeah.
Okay.
Uh-huh.
That second army that's not ogres is not undead. It's not death.
Okay.
It's Bone Splitters.
So you think there's going to be a Bone Splitters versus... This is almost a dual prediction, but nonetheless, okay. So it's going to be a Bone Splitters versus ogres is what you're implying, right?
Yeah.
Just hot destruction on destruction action.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, and I know that like everybody has tied the ogres to the Osiarchs, and I'm going to veer hard right and say no. I think that they're actually going to be tied to the Bone Splitters, and
we had an
and you could potentially see a new
What's the hero?
And there's a new hero model. What I don't know is what the hero model is of.
Okay, that's fine. But you're saying a new Bone Splitters hero model.
Well, a new Bone Splitters / Green Horde model.
Okay.
Because this could be it could be versus the Green Wog, right?
Sure.
It may not be versus just Bone Splitters. It may be Bone Splitters and Iron Jaws. Okay, and so
unifying force.
And can I add a +1 to that? Like, this is not part of the prediction, but
sure.
What I suspect
you can speculate on top. Yeah, we don't have to count that as part of the prediction.
And if they do that, it's the mounted mega boss.
That's where they sneak the mounted mega boss in.
Yep.
Okay. Potential. All right.
Yeah.
Okay. Right on.
But it may just be Bone Splitters with like some other model, like some other new hero, or like Bone Splitter on Wyvern. Who knows?
Gotcha. Okay. Right on.
Yeah.
All right. My prediction is it will occur in this book, so I'll be specific here. But we are going to get an updated, like, basically Bragoth's Beast Hammer Battalion type of thing. Was that his name? I don't remember what it was actually called. But you know what I mean? The one that combined a bunch of different Ogre units and a bunch of different, like, Ironjaw units, right? So the Ironjaw's book, or the Orruk, well, it's the Ironjaw's book to me. The Ironjaw's book will come first. And there won't be any mention of this. And then in the Mawtribes book, there is going to be a single big mega battalion that actually is the true, like, Mork and Gork, you know, the destruction, the great destruction horde, right? The all-in destruction horde, some version of a battalion of that. I'm not saying it'll necessarily be playable at 2,000 points.
Sure.
It might not be, right? But they'll do like they've done in the past with, like, you know, the Ineth one that brings Sylvaneth units in or whatever, right? That kind of thing. Yeah.
Yep.
There will be a battalion that looks like that then combines both of these destruction releases into one mega army that's legitimately meant to be your 2,000 point force. Like, it will be built such that it could be at least 2,000 points. Maybe automatically more than, but at least. That's my prediction.
Cool.
All right. Eric, you're next.
I am going to suggest that the dual box is with free people.
Oh!
Whoa! Okay.
That that the bone it's convenient to go just bone, 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 bone. Everybody's got bones, but who has the bones that everybody wants? It's the humans.
Oh, they got those succulent bones. Yeah, sure.
With the marrow. But that because I think that they have that's again, there's more capital to invest in free peoples than bone splitters. Like they're gonna get more out of it if there's new models in free cities or in the cities of Sigmar. And I think that if there's a dual box, and that's where we've seen them add in those kind of new heroes and make them kind of hidden behind those box sets, etc. I think that makes sense. Plus, the historically too, the man eaters and have worked with humans and that sort of stuff, and there's that kind of whole alliance. So I think that could be an interesting play there.
Okay. All right. So Free Peoples will be the other half of the Feast of Bones box set. All right. Okay. AOS coach says stay away from our bones. We already have enough to deal with new death. All right. Nice. Tom, you have the final prediction of the show.
Don't ruin it.
Sure. That the whole here's going to be a contentious one. That your snowball chuckers are going to lose their snowball ability as it currently sits.
Oh, nice. The pointless snowball chucking that never made any sense on that model. Sure.
And what I think is going to happen is they're going to move it's just not going to be what it was, right? And they're going to move to be pure priests. Like there's going to be a change to that war scroll, and they will become like priests of the storm or something like that.
So like they'll have maybe they have a prayer that like on a 3-up it does a d6 mortal wounds or something like that, like a like a blood boil, but it's blood freeze, whatever, that kind of a thing, right?
Right. Like there will be an adjustment. Let me say it this way, just to be a little bit safer. There will be a major adjustment to that scroll. And what will not survive is the current way that the prayers are done. Mm-hmm. And what I mean by that is that it will move to a true priest. And as part of that, one of the losses will be snowball as it currently is.
Okay. I have your prediction as snowball chucking is gone in its current form. They will be priests and they will have a damage prayer. Do you want me to remove that last part? Just say they will be full priests?
They'll be full priests because like they may have a chart where they get to choose a damage prayer or something.
Sure.
Like they can.
I would still count that if on a chart they had a selectable damage prayer. I would still say you got that. Like that's still okay. But I updated your prediction there. Okay.
Good. Yep.
All right. Nice. All right. There we go. Predictions done. 9 predictions per book, 27 predictions total, plus some additional speculation every time for each of these. They have been locked, recorded. Now it's time to wait. We sit back. We see, it'll be probably a month or so at least before we know if this is all out. Because it'll be a little longer probably on the ogres, probably into October. I don't think they're gonna throw like all 3 of these books up at the same time. That would be insane.
Is that another prediction?
No, that's just a general thought. It just seems like it would be a bit much if they were like, next week, ogres and cities and Orruks. Like, that's probably too much. But they will be recorded. We will come back. We will check in and we will see who wins the kit effectively. Who is the predictor? We hold ourselves to a high standard here. We'll see who's making the tightest predictions. All right. Well, that brings us to the end. Eric, pleasure, my friend, hanging out with you.
Always. Thanks for having me, guys.
Absolutely. It's always a good time. I'm sure we'll have you back on again. For all of you out there, we thank you very much for watching. As always, we appreciate it. And we'll see you next Wednesday.